We had to threaten a lawsuit, Jesse. And by the way, we're still entertaining it. We're talking to some of the best lawyers out there that are experts in this. And as you know, these things can be very complicated. There's a lot of facts and circumstances around it. But we're not going to let this go, because you should not be able to smear 5,000 high school and college kids and then just be able to walk away with it.
This Turning Point conference, the were in the front of out there in front of the conference with anti-Semitic slurs, and you know, the cigar.
I think it's important that every single person that attended that Turning Point, every Republican speak up against the swastikas, against the flags that were waved.
You let them in.
President, open your
You let them in and you knew what they were.
Right.
So you are complicit.
But Whoopi is certainly not the brightest person. And what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a well thought out.
It finally happened. The moment daytime TV tried to bury has exploded into a media firestorm. Joe Rogan didn't just toss a few insults. He ripped into the View hosts like a lion unleashed in a petting zoo. And the fuel for this blazing drama? Charlie Kirk's $100 million lawsuit that hit them like a thunderbolt from legal hell. This isn't a squabble over tweets or on-air flubs. This is full-blown war. And Rogan came armed with sarcasm, wit, and a savage sense of justice. The View hosts are spinning in their seats while the internet watches in stunned amazement. Charlie Kirk, the founder of Turning Point USA, has had enough. After The View allegedly smeared his student group, he didn't just clap back. He brought the legal hammer down with a lawsuit so massive it could buy its own TV network. We're not talking chump change here. $100 million is a statement.
Charlie Kirk's the founder and CEO of Turning Point USA and the author of the new book, The College Scam. So, Charlie, do you accept The View's apology?
I mean, regardless of whether or not I accept it, the question is, do our students accept it? That's really what's at heart here. They went after our 5,000 students at our event there of high school and college kids. And look, I get attacked all the time. People say false things. I'm a public figure. But when you go after 16 and 17-year-olds that travel from across the country that then have to live for the rest of their life with a shadow over them because someone at ABC says that they might be linked to
A roar across the media jungle that says, you messed with the wrong guy. And that's exactly what Joe Rogan's been waiting for, a juicy target to mock with his signature deadpan fire. And mock he did. Rogan tore into the panel with brutal clarity, comparing their logic to a half-baked stand-up routine full of punchlines, but no actual sense. He laughed, he scoffed, and then he stomped all over their soapbox with facts and flair. The View, once a fortress of loud opinions, now looks like a collapsing castle built on soggy egos and shaky outrage. Kirk's lawsuit didn't just rattle the table, it flipped it over and shattered their illusion of invincibility. Joe didn't waste time with polite commentary. He called it out. The hypocrisy, the performative apologies, the smug attitude, they all became targets for his verbal sledgehammer. And when Joe swings, he doesn't miss. While The View tried to backpedal with vague apologies, Joe Rogan made sure the public didn't forget the real issue, young students being labeled unfairly on national television. And he was furious that they thought they could get away with it. Charlie Kirk said it best. The problem wasn't just about him. It was about the 5,000 students who were smeared by association. They went after our 5,000 students. That's really what's at heart here, he explained. And that hit a nerve across America. Joe Rogan took that point and ran with it. He wasn't having any of The View's soft-spoken regrets. He called out the fake humility, the scripted sorrow, and the desperate damage control. The man practically laughed them off the stage. Then things took a sharp turn. Whoopi Goldberg's bizarre comments about Biden locking up Republicans sent Rogan into full-blown roast mode. It was as if someone handed him a comedy goldmine and said, "Dig in." Joe's reaction? priceless.
So, I mean, The View has to be, if you average out The View hosts, among the dumbest people on television. And so it's like they say the thing that people are thinking, but they say it very directly, so they expose whatever truth. But
I don't think some of them are dumb.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think Sunny Hostin's
You think it's deliberate?
I think she's ideologically driven, and they have blinders on, for sure. I don't think Sunny's dumb. But Whoopi is certainly not the brightest person. And what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a well thought out. It's like if you had an idea for a premise and it was totally baked and half baked and you went on stage with it and it's nothing
just
there.
Go for it. Yeah,
there's nothing there. Sometimes comics do that.
He compared their reasoning to a microwaved conspiracy theory, hot, messy, and utterly nonsensical. The clip went viral before Whoopi could blink. People couldn't believe what they were hearing. And yet this isn't just about political drama or media nonsense. It's about the weaponization of narrative. Rogan sees it for what it is, a carefully crafted attack disguised as righteous speech, and he's tearing down the curtain for everyone to see. While The View hosts act like this is just another misunderstanding, Joe Rogan is treating it like a masterclass in public accountability. No more hiding behind the desk, no more pretending to be victims. They got called out, and now they're exposed. Kirk's lawsuit isn't a tantrum, it's a warning. He's saying that the rules have changed. You can't just throw accusations around and expect to walk away clean. That $100 million tag isn't just a number, it's a reckoning. And Joe, he's loving every minute of it. You can hear the satisfaction in his voice as he drags their logic through the mud and laughs at their flailing responses. This is Rogan in his prime, armed with truth, dripping with sarcasm, and out for justice. The irony is so thick, you could slice it with a courtroom summons. The View hosts built their brand on loud opinions and dramatic takedowns, but now that they're the ones in the spotlight, their voices suddenly go silent, and the apology, weak at best. My bad, I'm sorry. As if that could erase the damage done to thousands of students smeared on live television. Rogan shredded it like it was written on a cocktail napkin during commercial break. What started as a media spat has become a cultural clash. Joe Rogan, the king of long-form conversation, is now the unlikely hero in a battle against shallow outrage and performative guilt, and he's not backing down.
The culture shift between right and left authoritarianism, and now people don't recognize that if you just stopped looking at it in terms of red and blue, look at the actions, whether it's war, suppression of free speech, pharmacological interventions that are mandatory, right. whatever it is, that used to all be associated with the authoritative right, the authoritarian right, and now those things are being embraced by the left. And I just think it's just an ideology thing, and I think we get confused and we think we're on the right side, we're on the right side. And if it's our side that's saying this, for sure that's the right thing to do. And no one's critically thinking about this.
Joe Rogan is the gateway drug for young men that thought they were Democrats to become MAGA. Joe Rogan is the bridge. And on that bridge, they'll see RFK. They'll see Elon Musk.
This drama has every ingredient for a TV meltdown. Lawsuits, mockery, apologies, and public backlash all wrapped into one explosive spectacle. And with Joe Rogan adding his fire, it's only going to burn hotter. The View's silence in the face of Rogan's takedown speaks volumes. For a show known for constant chatter, they suddenly seem tongue-tied when the backlash comes with court documents and viral sound bites. They're used to tossing accusations like confetti and expecting everyone else to clean up the mess. But now that Charlie Kirk has drawn the legal line in the sand, they're the ones scrambling to hold it together. Behind the scenes, damage control is in overdrive. Sources say producers are in panic mode, trying to script apologies and tighten up the talking points. But no amount of rehearsed regret can undo what's already been said. Joe Rogan isn't letting them sweep this under the rug. His mockery continues, sharp and relentless, exposing the absurdity of it all. He's like a wrecking ball in a house of cardboard egos. Nothing is safe from his swing. And here's the kicker. The Views brand has always been built on righteous outrage and moral superiority. But Rogan just flipped the script and turned their outrage into comedy fuel for millions of listeners. He pointed out the way they bring on token conservatives just to silence them. They always bring on a token conservative woman, and they yell over her and silence her, he said. That wasn't a punch, it was a knockout. He didn't stop there. He called out their double standards, their theatrical rants, and their smugness. It wasn't just criticism. It was a full-blown dissection of their entire formula. As Joe broke it down piece by piece, it became clear The View had walked straight into the trap.
Do you see what Whoopi Goldberg said?
What'd she say?
Whoopi Goldberg said that Biden could arrest all the Republicans and put them in jail. You just need to see how unhinged this kind of thinking is. Well, you know what Joe Biden could do? Joe Biden, you have to see it because it's so
on TV.
crazy.
She said
on television.
You know, just let's look at a scenario where the Supreme Court says, yes, he has all those rights. He is immune from everything.
Yeah.
You know what Joe Biden could do since he is presently president?
What?
Whoa. He could throw every Republican in jail. Welcome back. You know, in Monday's conversation about Turning Point USA, I put the young people at the conference in the same category as the protesters outside. And I don't like it when people make assumptions about me, and it's not any better when I make assumptions about other people, which I did. So, my bad. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So, this...
They thought they were untouchable, but they underestimated the power of a microphone in the hands of someone who actually thinks before he speaks. Meanwhile, Charlie Kirk isn't backing down either. His lawsuit has become a symbol of something bigger, a cultural pushback against media arrogance. He's standing his ground and saying, enough is enough. Rogan's audience is eating it up. People are tired of scripted TV drama pretending to be journalism. They want honesty, not theatrics. The View hosts tried to control the narrative, but now the narrative is controlling them. Every move they make is under the microscope, and every word they say is being replayed with brutal clarity. And let's not forget, this entire spiral started because they couldn't help but make reckless claims on national television. Their habit of throwing shade finally backfired in spectacular fashion. The drama is no longer just between Charlie Kirk and The View. It's become a flashpoint in the culture war. It's about who gets to speak, who gets silenced, and who finally says, no more. Joe Rogan doesn't play by Hollywood rules, and that's what makes this showdown so electrifying. He's not afraid to call out nonsense, even if it's coming from the queens of daytime drama. With every podcast episode, Rogan peels back the curtain on a media circus that thought it couldn't be touched. He's holding up a mirror, and The View hosts are being forced to look at what they've become. The lawsuit itself is no joke. This isn't symbolic, it's serious. Legal experts are watching closely, because a win for Kirk could mean a whole new era of media accountability is about to begin. If that happens, expect more lawsuits to follow. This could open the floodgates for every person who's been publicly dragged by the media to finally fight back, with dollars, not just tweets. Rogan warned them. This isn't the old game anymore.
I think the problem with that show is that show has this very specific ideological bubble in which they operate in, you know, and they always bring on a token conservative woman and they yell over her and silence her. And, you know, they did that with Meghan McCain, and they did that with the What is that other blonde woman from Survivor? Do you remember her, Jamie? She was always yelling. I mean, it's a bizarre show.
You can't shout someone down and expect them to disappear. The new players come with podcasts, followers, and lawyers ready to throw down. The View thought they could toss out wild claims and walk away clean. But now they're staring down the barrel of a lawsuit so huge it makes their usual controversies look like spilled tea at brunch. And let's be honest, this isn't just legal drama anymore. This is entertainment, warfare, and reckoning all rolled into one fiery spectacle. With Rogan narrating and Kirk pushing forward, this story is far from over. Every day, new clips from the lawsuit fallout keep going viral. It's like watching a slow-motion train crash, except the conductors are daytime talk show hosts and the wreckage is their reputation. Rogan's commentary doesn't just sting, it lingers. He made it impossible for the public to ignore what really happened. With every savage jab, he pulled more viewers into the mess, forcing even neutral fans to take sides. Charlie Kirk, once painted by the media as just another conservative talking head, has now become a symbol of pushback. He's showing that there's a limit to media power and that even giants can be dragged into court. The View hosts, once bold and untouchable, now look cornered and defensive. Their fake laughs and vague apologies aren't landing the way they used to, because this time the stakes are too high and the cameras are too close. And while they try to pretend everything is normal, Joe Rogan keeps pouring salt into the wound. Every podcast episode, every clip, every moment of mockery turns up the heat on a story they desperately want to bury. Audiences have shifted too. The people watching aren't just sipping coffee and nodding along. They're demanding answers, calling out hypocrisy, and siding with whoever brings the most truth to the table.
Megan, I get it. I also hate Joy Behar. So I don't love you, but I also hate that squawking bird. So I hate the whole thing. And frankly, that show, you want to talk about a show that set women back, is The View. You want to talk about that show. If the CIA is engineering, Antifa and fucking the Capitol riot, some crazy misogynist engineered The View, because there's nothing worse than The View. In terms of, like, there are so many brilliant women out there. None of them are on The View. None of them have gone near the set of The View. I mean, they have brought in the lowest tier of the, what is it, the Y chromosome?
No, double
the
X.
Okay.
Double X.
They brought in the lowest of the double X's for that one. It's rough.
The lawsuit is still unfolding, but the damage to The View's credibility may already be done. No amount of editing can erase the avalanche of backlash now crashing through their once polished image. Rogan's brutal honesty exposed what many suspected all along, that the show isn't about balanced discussion. What's truly shocking is how unprepared The View seemed when real accountability knocked on the door. They're masters of spinning scandal until they became the scandal. And if they thought the storm would pass quickly, they were wrong. Because between Charlie Kirk's lawsuit and Joe Rogan's megaphone, this storm has turned into a full-blown hurricane. It's not just about who's right or wrong anymore. It's about who's willing to fight when it counts. And right now, Kirk and Rogan are swinging hard, while The View stumbles to find its footing. What's next? Maybe a courtroom showdown. Maybe a behind-the-scenes settlement with a mountain of NDAs. But either way, The View's image will never be the same again. Rogan won't let them rewrite the story either. His army of listeners is watching every move, and they've got long memories and even longer clip libraries ready to pounce.
Yeah, did you watch the episode when Tulsi Gabbard got on to defend herself and Joy Behar starts panicking and going over her notes while Tulsi is refuting everything that she said?
Yeah, I mean, Joy Behar, like, again, these people have dementia. These are people who, like, should not be allowed out of the house. They have a national platform. I mean, it is crazy They have no idea. These people have never read like a book.
And there's versions of it.
This isn't just television drama. It's a warning shot to every media outlet that thinks they can spin narratives without consequences. That era may be ending faster than anyone expected. The View tried to frame the story their way, but the truth fought back. And this time, it came armed with a podcast empire and a $100 million checkbook. Charlie Kirk's lawsuit is a bombshell, yes. But Joe Rogan made sure the explosion echoed across every platform, because sometimes mockery is more powerful than money. The contrast couldn't be sharper. One side fumbling with cue cards, the other side speaking with unscripted fire. And audiences can see through every bit of it. If The View wants to survive this, they'll need more than damage control. They'll need a complete reset, because once the mask slips and the mockery goes viral, the old tricks stop working. Joe Rogan didn't just mock The View, he exposed them. He shined a spotlight on a culture of arrogance, selective outrage, and zero accountability. And now, the world is watching what happens next. So whether this ends with a quiet settlement or a public courtroom circus, one thing is clear. The View got scorched, Kirk brought the fire, and Joe Rogan, he lit the match.